Hi, and welcome. My name is Ali, and I'm one of the co-founders of Pollinate.life. So in my many years as a leadership coach and corporate mindfulness and emotional intelligence trainer, I've come to learn that the main reason why people have difficulty with behavior change is not because they don't know what to do, but rather because they have a hard time really integrating new skills into their life. Creating new, useful habits can be really difficult. Now, the good news is that there's a clear solution to this dilemma, which is where the saying, practice makes perfect, comes from. And this applies not only to technical or physical skills, but also to emotional and social skills. So, in the same way that intentionally practicing juggling, for example, will in a relatively short time enable you to actually juggle 3 or more balls with a certain degree of consistency, if you intentionally and deliberately practice gratitude, or compassion, or empathy, optimism, and clear communication, you will get better and better at them. In order to understand why and how this works, we can look to contemporary neuroscience. So bear with me because I want to geek out on this because it's fascinating science. You see, habit formation and behavior change happens in our brain. This 3-pound tofu-like structure that sits between our ears is enveloped by a 2 to 4 millimeter thick layer of gray matter called the neocortex. And it contains about 60 to 70 billion brain cells called neurons. And it's within that incredibly thin layer of cells that our entire human life unfolds, right? So all thoughts, all memories, all emotions, our entire sense of self, everything that makes us human is because of how that part of our body is structured and how it functions. Now, the truly amazing part about the brain is that it is constantly changing. So from the day we're born till the day we die, our brains are adapting to the experiences in our life and our environment. And our brain is always looking for the most efficient way to perform tasks required for survival. So when we have certain repetitive experiences, our brain adapts and gets more and more efficient at performing those functions. In fact, when we've performed a specific process often enough that our brain is really good at it, we've created what we call a habit. And the underlying process involved is called neuroplasticity. And it's happening all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. So the reason we tie our shoes in the same way, brush our teeth in the same way, and even react to stress and emotional triggers in the same habitual manner is because our brain has learned to do so over many, many repetitions of that behavior. Now, the not so good news here is that the reason some of us smoke or overeat or fly off the handle in anger in certain situations is because we've unconsciously allowed our brains to react to certain triggers in a specific way and have then repeated that reactivity until it formed into a habit. However, there's good news here as well. So neuroplasticity also applies to positive behaviors. So if we intentionally decide to practice behaviors like gratitude or forgiveness, mindfulness, compassion, patience, even love, we get better and better at them. And they become more and more habitual. Neuroscientists call this process self-directed neuroplasticity, which is really just a fancy way of describing creating behavior change through practice. And this is why we created Pollinate. We know that if you want to cultivate new habits and get good at specific skills, you need repetition and frequency of that skill that you're trying to acquire. And for most of us, this takes a lot of structure and accountability. If behavior change were easy, we'd all be doing it. But the truth is, without the right tools, it can actually be quite difficult. I mean, just think back to all of the New Year's resolutions that you and your friends have made over the years and how many of them have really stuck. So, all of the programs that use Pollinate have one thing in common. They're built to help you practice so that you can form new habits that will help you thrive. Just like I'm bound to be more successful in my gym workouts if I pay a personal trainer to hold me accountable to meet at a certain time at the gym, you'll be more successful in cultivating the skills and habits you want if you create an intentional and structured practice around those skills. So I encourage you to explore and discover the many practice programs that have been created by incredibly talented and inspiring teachers in the Discover section of the site. We've made any and all of that possible. And we'd like to think that with Pollinate.life, practice is made perfect. So I hope you take advantage of this amazing tool we've created, and I wish you well on your new habit creation adventure. Good luck.